Hello, everybody, and welcome to FourWheelTech for January 5th, 2025. It's our final show for, well, the weekend. Ta-da! And along with Technology Today and WarCrafters, it becomes the Sunday edition of Non Sequitur News Weekend Edition. All right, let's get into the show. I am Merawat. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we're going to talk about these 5 automotive news-related articles. 50 drill power, Bentley flying spur, steamy EV charging circuit is hot. Switching to aluminum wheels? Oh, I know what they're talking about. Not wheels, rims. We'll get into it. And autonomous truck company hits feds. Everything's powered by ohmtown.com. Go over and become a citizen. You can submit news to us that you find interesting. I need to get a voting thing going, like in the article, so people who vote on articles, I can look at them as a list. We'll see. Anyway, on with 2025. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
Whenever I do that, I feel like I'm Kermit the Frog.
It's similar.
So, FourWheelTech is all about automotive technology and automotive news in general, because the news that comes out is typically technology-based that we aggregate and talk about, because I'm not too worried about like market size and stuff like that. I'm into the tech. That's what ohmtown is really. I mean, science, technology, society. We are at the crossroads of those three. And that's the point from which we talk. There is a roundabout, and we are standing on the flagpole in the center of that roundabout. Everything's connected. Everything is connected. I need to No, I'm not. See, look, there's the logo, and it is symbolic of the roundabout.
Non Sequitur News.
Oh, sorry. Okay. The first article is over in FourWheelTech. It's from Jalopnik. It says, before you ask, yes, you can power a car with 50 drills. Because I was just about to ask about that.
You were? Yeah. Not 49.
Not 49. 7-minute abs. Well, what if somebody comes up with 6-minute abs? No. No, man. Everyone who has ever picked up an electric drill has wondered if it would be possible to use one to drive a car. Wait, you haven't wondered that? Well, anyway, it says, I guess it's just me, the Garage 54 Hooligans, and the Garage 54 Hooligans. So if you had 50 drills, it makes sense for EVs to be powered by multiple electric motors, but what if they were all connected to a drive shaft and you could drive...
That's pretty funny.
Bradley Brownell over at jalopnik.com put the article together. Yeah, they've wired up 50 drills into basically a drive shaft. Let's see here. Yes, this is a simple solution for the modern electric vehicle. No more wondering where the batteries will fit. You just have to put them inside the motor. There. All 50 batteries swapped out. Still faster than charging an EV.
Exactly. Maybe this is the way to go.
So it says the average modern drill allegedly produces just shy of 1 horsepower and about 8 foot-pounds of or pound-feet of torque. With modern factories and globalized production, these Russian units are probably about equal to the power of a DeWalt or Ryobi. I would not put the DeWalt and Ryobi in the same category, I don't think. But, well, error on the conservative side. We'll say we're dealing with half a horsepower each for these black and orange machines, so about 25 horsepower. But still a pretty impressive 400-ish pound-feet of torque. That should be more than enough to move a little Lada around. A Lada is a car. Kind of like a Mini.
Oh, okay.
But not built by BMW. especially when mated to a gearbox. So it says, safe to say that Garage 54's little experiment here in the interest of dumb fun. So they don't show anything else. You have to watch the video. So they've created a contraption that holds all 50 of these.
I think we should watch a little bit of the video.
All right. Hey, how about a commercial first? Hold on. Hold on. What the hell? Things I never thought I'd see. All right. So they weld the contraption together. They stick everything together with pulleys. They build the crankshaft. Dude. I need to get one of these. I need to get a lathe. So they wire them all up. I don't know if they're actually going to do it, though. They don't put it in a car yet.
I thought they were going to show the driving experience.
Nope. So they hook it all up, and then they just demonstrate that the fan turns. That's all it is.
Pretty cool. You know, I know they did this as a joke, but hopefully people pay attention to things like this and start just rethinking what they know about always doing things the same way, right?
Yeah. The thing that really drives me nuts about EVs is the fact that it does take forever to charge the damn things up. Why don't we focus on fast swap battery tech? It doesn't make any sense that we have these big, bulky, ugly batteries that are at the bottom of the sled, and we don't take advantage of the fact that you can make a whole bunch of them, link them together, and slide them in. We do it all day long.
Like Lego pieces or something.
Yeah, we do it all day long, man. We have batteries for everything, everywhere. Just do it that way. And then have fast swap battery centers. So you just drive in, a machine opens, we standardize the sled so that they're all the same. I mean, having the ability to use a part from here, there, or wherever, a multitude of manufacturers, because we've standardized things, bolt patterns for wheels, the mounting mechanism for hand cranks on windows, or better yet, electric systems or electronic systems to solenoid open doors and stuff like that. All of these interchangeable parts have been around since the Model T. Why can't we adhere to this more so that we can share the technology better and thus adopt something societally? And then at some point we can go, hey, we've come out with better technology because we're prototyping it over here. And then the next iteration, the next generation uses that sled. But that's not what happens. We balkanize everything, and now we have this stupid platform where it takes 2 hours to charge your car to 80% and 6 to 8 hours to charge it to 100%, and diminishing returns constantly because you lose 1 to 2% every year that your car is in existence with that battery. Anyway.
Exactly. And it seems like it's one of these things that, like, decades from now, people will be like, I wonder why we did it like this. It's because we just kept doing it the same way.
No, it's because some billionaire fever dream made it, and people bought into the bullshit. Anyway, let's move on. The next article's over in FourWheelTech. 2024 Bentley Flying Spur Edition 8 exists, so your chauffeur can have fun too. Edition 8. When the author of this over at Jalopnik first walked up to the 2024 Bentley Flying Spur Edition 8, I guess it is, right? They'd been driving around Southern California in a parking garage below LAX. They were a bit disappointed. Usually when they head out to LA, they do their best to get fun sporty cars for their stay to take advantage of the wonderful roads that they don't have back in New York City. But this is the Bentley Flying Spur. How much do you think this car costs? It's a Bentley.
Maybe 150,000?
I'm going to guess
really sure.
Closer to 200. But watch it be. No, it's not Ferrari. Anyway, the Flying Spur is a supremely comfortable car to spend time in. It just so happens to be a hoot to drive as well. A hoot. The author of this article is Andy Kolmowitz, and it's over at jalopnik.com. So there's the car. Yeah, this is kind of sedanish. 287,000. Let me round up. Sometimes money can buy happiness, and that happiness is a 2024 Bentley Flying Spur. By the way,
I was way too low.
Yeah. I was still a third off at 200,000, but there's a real argument to be made that this is one of the best cars in the world right now, and despite commanding an eye-watering $290,000 price, because it's $286,665. It's a lot of money. It's not quite the average home price nowadays, but this is still a freaking car. I guess you can live in it. It's a V8.
But can you?
Comfortably, apparently. 542 horsepower, 568 pound-feet of torque, which is it's 168 more pound-feet of torque more than the 50 drill Lada that had 400.
Well, isn't that interesting?
So it's enough to take this over 5,400 pound beast from 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. And if you keep your foot down, it'll reach just below, I guess, 200 miles per hour. And you can't look at the engine because you have to remove shrouds and other reinforcement stuff just to look at it. All of this is shroud.
I kind of expect anybody who's driving one of these doesn't really want to look at the engine. But that translates to very expensive repairs.
All these buttons on this thing make it look like it's a airplane, but Bentley.
Absolutely.
So, despite its sporty disposition, if you switch the excellent feeling drive mode dial from sport to comfort or Bentley mode, everything becomes far more relaxed and suspension softens. And you can quickly make your own way down the highway, hearing nothing but whatever you got on the radio. And it's all thanks to Bentley's very neat 48-volt active suspension system. What a machine. Oh, Bentley. Step inside the Flying Spur Edition 8 gets even more serious. When it comes to luxury, fit, and finish, this car is basically second to none. Sure, you can argue stuff like Rolls Royces and Maybachs are, beat it in some ways, but I don't care, says the author. Everything inside this car is just perfect. Get a room. So, I don't know.
It does look like it's probably comfortable, but...
Dear God, look at the support struts for the trunk. What the hell? It looks like this thing could handle a nuclear explosion and keep you safe if you're laying in the trunk.
That's not what I thought you were going to comment on.
What was I going to comment on?
Like the packing style of whoever put the things in the trunk.
That's a freaking cluster, but that's probably just to test how much junk they can put in their trunk. So this is a big car, though. If your Edition 8 isn't feeling special enough, you can add things like the $3,700 panoramic roof, the $9,000 enhanced suspension system with four-wheel steering, which you should really do, the $8,000, I'm going to round down, $8,000 two-tone piano black veneer, the $6,800 extra special wheels, and the nebulously named $10,000 touring specification, and a handful of other multi-$1,000 options to get this car, as tested, $287,000. This might shock you to hear, but I think the Flying Spur is actually worth it, they say. All right.
Well, maybe so, but if you can't afford a house, I'm going to suggest that you don't go out and buy a $287,000 car.
I would never buy this car because his naked thighs were somewhere near the car.
That was a weird picture to show.
Moving on. Next article is over in FourWheelTech. Steam coming off your fast-charging EV might look scary, but it's not dangerous. Electric vehicle fires are extremely dangerous and difficult to extinguish, but they actually occur a lot less frequently than gas car fires. There's a lot less of them on the road, by the way. Maybe as a ratio. Yeah, because a liquid is going to be harder to manage than a solid-state battery pack.
Yeah, but I would like to know the ratio because, for example, if 10% of EVs catch fire, and I don't know what the number is, you might want to know that.
So the article is by Logan Carter over at jalopnik.com. And it says heat pumps warm up your battery to prepare it for fast charging, and that can produce steam. So in cold weather, anything hot is going to steam. A regular car steams, etc., etc. So don't worry about it. It says don't call 911 just yet. It's just steam from the heat pump, which is necessary to get the battery up to the ideal temperature to maximize charge speeds. All new Tesla models and many other EVs have heat pumps and can warm up or precondition the battery to optimal temperature for DC fast charging, which is around 122 degrees Fahrenheit. So in winter weather, you're going to get some steam.
I wonder how many calls have been made about this with people not familiar with EVs.
Yeah. If you want all of the articles for today's show, you can go over to twitch.tv/ohmtown. And even when we're not in the chat, you can hit exclamation point FWT or FourWheelTech, and that will give you the show notes. Alternatively, you can go over to YouTube and look at all 1,700 episodes of the ohmTown shows, network of shows. This is season 4, by the way, of ohmTown being publicly accessible. We opened the gates, so to speak. So ohmTown has been in existence for 12 years.
Right, but publicly it's on its 4th year.
Yeah. This is how dedicated I am to ohmTown and its information management system for me in my information overload management. But I've owned that domain for a lot longer. Anyway, cold weather poses unique challenges for electric vehicles. EVs use massive lithium-ion batteries to store electricity, but the chemistry inside the batteries just doesn't like cold temperatures or really hot temperatures either. You can't plug into a DC fast charger like a Tesla supercharger with a cold battery and expect it to charge at its maximum rate. In fact, you can put excess stress on the battery to do so. Brilliant plan. Fast charging a battery when its internal temperature is colder than 32 degrees Fahrenheit can cause a phenomenon called lithium plating, where it just...
This doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it won't absorb any of the ions, or electrons, I should say. Tesla says that its thermal system may produce steam under certain conditions for vehicles with heat pumps, and that odorless steam can come from the front of the vehicle while charging on a supercharger in cold temperatures. So popping and hissing are early signs of thermal runaway that causes EV fires. And it said that a cherry bubblegum scent can be present. So if you hear that or smell that, get the hell away and call 911.
Right, don't ignore it.
Yep. Stay away from the vehicle. And, it even says it. If you notice any of these issues, stay away. Call emergency services. And allow them to pour 50,000 gallons worth of whatever onto the car so that it can suppress the fire and it can run into the wastewater. And anyway.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, dark vapor or smoke coming from the battery or near the rear of the vehicle is also a cause for concern. I can say the same for me. If there is a dark vapor around Merawatt or smoke coming from the rear,
stay away.
Stay away and call emergency services. Moving on. Next article is over in FourWheelTech. IndyCar teams spend the cost of a small house just on wheels every year, but switching to aluminum could save thousands. So they say wheels.
Are we actually talking tire? But then when they say aluminum, I think they are talking about the wheels.
There's tires and there are rims. And wheels are both.
Well, what are they spending on?
Okay, just wanted to get into this discussion. Wheels are tires and rims. Anyway, let's say
So are
you
we going
run
to
a...
have aluminum tires?
That's why I said switching to aluminum wheels. Anyway, let's say you run a 3-car Indy team with a 4th car scheduled to run at the Indy 500s, like, say, McLaren or Andretti. How much do you think you'd have to budget for a season's worth of wheels? They're killing me here. Season's worth of wheels. You mean rims or tires? Or is it both because you swap
Yeah, I
out the
don't know. They're
tires?
still going with wheels, so we don't know.
So if it's wheels, it's the rim and the rubber. Because you don't sit there on the side of the, you don't sit in pit row or pit lane and put tires on rims. You don't. You have enough supply there so you can just take a tire off or a wheel off
Oh,
and
okay.
put it on. At least I don't think so. I've never seen that. But then again, I'm not hanging out in pit lane. So how much do you think that they have to budget for a season's worth of wheels? So that's the rim and the tire. It's going to need 12 sets of pricey aero-optimized lightweight magnesium wheels.
It's probably like over $1 million because they're probably like these high end and it's a lot of them. I don't know. I have no idea.
Look, I'm telling you, I don't... Am I the only one? Somebody correct me, either in comments, chat, somewhere. Okay? Rubber is the tire because you don't buy wheels from a tire store. You buy tires that go on rims, and that is your wheel. Okay. So the article is over at Jalopnik, and it says, why haven't these wheels been aluminum all along anyway? Bradley Brunell from Jalopnik put the article together. Switching to aluminum could save thousands. Let's say you run a 3-car. So the total ends up being $317,000 just for wheels.
Okay, I was a little bit off.
Hold on. Oops. You know,
If you go to like a car parts place, it says wheels. But it's not talking about the tires.
although you'll hear people use wheel and rim synonymously, they are not interchangeable. The rim is one of several components of a wheel. The tire is mounted on the outside edge of the wheel, and the rim serves as a sort of reinforcement to secure the tire to the wheel.
So that tracks, right?
So a wheel is the entire circular assembly that includes the rim, spokes, and hub, while a rim is just the outer edge of the wheel where the tire mounts. Okay.
So that's consistent, right?
Sure. I guess the wheel is the thing that attaches to the car.
But I guess the wheel doesn't include the tire, even though I think it does.
And the tire is something separate. But I think that the wheel is the entire contraption, and the rim,
right, including the tire.
Yeah. But that's not what this is saying. TireAgent.com and other places.
You'll have to do an informal survey outside of hometown and see what you get.
I'm going to lobby my
like
senator.
3 random people and see what you get.
Let me speak to your manager. So magnesium is a great material for making racing wheels because it's lighter than aluminum, but the benefits end there. Magnesium is a lower thermal conductivity than aluminum, so it doesn't quite dissipate heat from the brakes as well, and it's also effectively impossible to repair and much more prone to cracking. So a minor scuff on the aluminum would brush off. Could be a race-ending incident. It's also a really expensive material to work with and adds up to a ridiculously expensive wheel budget for a season of IndyCar. Plus, magnesium can catch fire, and if a magnesium tire, if a magnesium wheel catches fire, it will. It's like impossible to turn off.
Oh,
It's so hold on. A fire caused by the ignition of magnesium metal, which burns at a temperature of around 3,100 degrees Celsius or 5,610 degrees Fahrenheit. It's basically thermite. Um, yeah, except that thermite is iron
yeah, that
rust
doesn't sound easy to
to put out.
put out. Thank you.
So the series is working with suppliers to reduce the cost by around 15% for the 2026-2027 season simply by switching to aluminum or aluminium. IndyCar, as you may know, is a spec series with every racing team working with almost identical race car packages. So long as everyone is forced to use the same wheel, the racing isn't going to be materially changed by a marginally heavier wheel. Wheel suppliers are working on new designs that will provide a stronger and similar weight aluminum wheel to the current mags while reducing production costs. So, yeah. Potential savings of $36,000 or the cost of a mid-sized sedan simply for the 17-round season replacement from magnesium.
Well, this sounds like a good move if they can make it work. That may mean they have to account for other differences.
What's weird, though, is it's only $36,000 out of a $370,000 budget. So,
Right,
or
it doesn't seem like it's for financial reasons, but maybe it's for the other things like the scratch versus the replacement.
why are the damn wheels so expensive, even in aluminum? You know, I can cast it in the mayoral mansion for crying out loud.
I don't know. It must be some, I'm not sure. Oh, it's because there's such a small pool of people that are allowed to make them.
Yeah, probably. I'm sure it's not cast aluminum either. It's some, hardened billet aluminum that's made from, the tears of a unicorn. Anyway, so there you go. They're going to try, IndyCar is trying to change from magnesium wheels to aluminum wheels to save thousands of dollars. Let's keep going. So the next article and our last one for FourWheelTech today is in Technology Today. Pittsburgh-based autonomous truck company hits safety hang-up with feds. After years of preparation, Aurora Innovations' big launch of autonomous trucks in Texas is facing an unlikely stumbling block: safety triangles. Evan Robinson Johnson over at techexplore.com put the article together. And it says, when a traditional rig pulls up outside a highway, drivers are legally required to place a series of orange triangles or flares. What? Wait, what? When a traditional big rig pulls to the side of the highway. Oh, okay, yeah. Drivers are legally required to place a series of orange triangles or flares at the rear of the vehicle to alert oncoming traffic. Aurora's semis are designed to operate without a human in the cabin, meaning that there would be nobody to put out the warning signs when the trucks pull over.
Wait, I didn't even know that was a requirement because you do not see that very frequently.
Right. Well, they're violating the law. And is it just Texas? Yeah. Apparently it's just Texas.
I don't know. It may be everywhere, but yeah, this is based in Texas.
The Strip District-based company joined with Waymo, a subsidiary of a Google parent company, Alphabet, to petition federal regulators. Oh, regulatory capture. Yay! For an exemption in early 2023. Last week, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA, rejected the request. It's federal, so it's everybody. Raising questions about how Aurora will pull off a commercial launch that is scheduled for April. What it should do is just, as it drives over to exit, it just drops a little cone down and then stops.
I was thinking it could have like a little arm with cones attached or something that comes out. I don't know.
They could be metal rods that are slid into the side of the vehicle, and then when it needs to pull over, it extends it, um, and then when it needs to drive again, it just reels them back in. It could be
Yeah,
like
it'd
a
have to be something attached in some way because the collection is going to be the next problem,
yeah. You
right?
can leave
Like they
them.
can't just drop them.
Sure, somebody else's problem. The governments at Aurora and Waymo, which has since narrowed its focus to robotaxis, failed to provide adequate data to show that their solution, a series of cab-mounted warning beacons, would provide the same level of safety as the traditional approach, and the companies can resubmit. Yeah, well, I mean, those little orange cones aren't going to stop somebody from smashing into an 18-wheeler.
No, but also if they have something inside the truck, is that really going to alert somebody depending on how it appears?
The whole ass end of it should just light up like a Christmas tree. If you can't, and
Well,
it should literally be written on the back of the truck, if you can't see this, you're a dumbass.
well, there you go. Maybe they need to change the law on that.
Regulators said that their highest priority is safety. The administration embraces technology advancements that further our policy goals, including reducing crashes, injuries, and fatalities on our nation's roads, says Director Cicely Waters. Said by email. To reverse the agency's decision, Aurora would need to provide additional data showing the effectiveness of their warning beacon approach. The company, it should just be a laser that shoots cars in half.
Well, I mean, that would solve the problem of avoiding collisions or maybe causing some new collisions.
There is a lot of data and, well, a lot of talk in this article. Zach Callahan, executive director of Truck Safety Coalition, wrote the lack of data requires that the Department of Transportation not unnecessarily risk the lives of the 200 plus million roadway users who never agreed to be part of this experiment.
Ouch.
Interesting. That's because they're worried that these autonomous vehicles are going to
We're going to
screw
take
up.
the jobs. Well, yeah.
Oh, it could be take jobs, but this is Truck Safety Coalition, not necessarily job
Yeah, that's
centric.
fair. But it's true. I mean, if it's like, well, let's just waive all these safety requirements, but then what about everybody else out on the road?
Yeah. So this could be in partnership with some other facet that is interested in protecting those jobs, right? Because we're going through that right now with a discussion regarding the fact that you can do this, but you can't do that. But to do this, it is identical to that over there, short of the fact that one is more transient. I have to be cagey about it because I'm in the middle of spinning up a product. And we're looking at the subtle nuance of law. And it literally says you can taste but not touch.
It's like you can do this, but you can't do this.
Yeah. 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 You can go through the door, but you can't touch the doorknob. It's the wackiest thing. So instead of messing with it, we're just going to go a different route, probably, amounting to constraining what is possible until we're big enough to expand. It's very, very frustrating, but that's what this really could be, right? And the reason why I brought it up is because through discussion, we believe that it's kind of a coalition. There's a group of people that are interested in protecting their interests at the cost of a massive growth potential of individuals, usurping some of the customers from the ones that have regulatory capture. That's this, right? So truckers don't want autonomous trucking because it's going to take long haul trucking jobs. So why not partner up? You know, I'm conspiratorially thinking here, but you know, what does that little triangle actually do that flashing neon lights on the back can't do?
Exactly. I mean, maybe it's time to change what the safety measures are, provided that they're actually things that will work.
If anything, if they're bright enough in daylight and night, they're going to be seen for a further distance because they're on the vehicle, not on the ground, where the curve of the earth alone can obstruct the sight of that flare or make them as bright as a flare. The flare is going to burn out, and it's toxic. It's nasty crap sitting on the road. Anyway, that's all there is to this. As stakeholders widely agree that technology will make American roads safer, yet DOT took nearly 2 years to decline an opportunity to embrace technology at a critical juncture, Mr. Farah wrote. The AV industry, automated vehicle industry, will be looking at all available options to ensure this technology can be deployed to save lives.
I think if they were really trying to do this, they would have sought a change to the safety measures, and so then when they came through, it would have been easy, but they didn't do it that way. They just assumed, well, we're different, so let's just try to ram it through.
Yeah. But why wait 2 years to try and solve a problem that they know is sitting there 4 months before they're supposed to kick off?
Well, that's the thing, right? They should have known about it well in advance. And I'm sure the government knew about it well in advance. But the problem is, unless they were at the stage of like submitting whatever the application or the review or whatever, like they might have been at the right stage on the government side. We don't know.
Strike that. I don't know why. I'm talking insane considering I just saw a forum that says it's going to take 14 weeks to process 10 lines of information.
With some check blocks, basically.
Dear God. All right. You know, I'm all for bureaucracy because it limits the potential for fast-moving abuse. But for crying out loud, 14 weeks. 14 weeks to address 10 lines. All right. Well, anyway, this article by Evan Robinson Johnson was over at techexplore.com, and that is the end of FourWheelTech. So we are going to put it in reverse and fast and furious, like race backwards down Main Street, ohmTown, until we land back at the front page.
Do we have any safety beacons out?
I was pooting out beacons every mile. Anyway, I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmTown.com, and along with the sentient AI, we are saying bye. And now the AI will too.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for FourWheelTech. Stay tuned. Next week we'll have another episode of this, but tomorrow we'll be back with our regular Non Sequitur news.
And it's an hour long, and it's Monday through Friday, and it covers the last 24 hours of news. But that Monday episode covers everything from Friday to Monday. So, but it's typically the last 24 hours because there's a massive flood of news on Mondays through Friday. Anyway, in those interstitial days. Okay, we're out of here. See ya. Bye-bye. Like a little triangle is going to really stop a dipshit.